Commander Jack Phillips stood on the bridge of the Defiance staring at the view screen with narrowed eyes. The unknown structure floated silently against the backdrop of stars, its metallic surface reflecting the distant sunlight. It wasn't supposed to be here, at the edge of human space. Nothing was supposed to be here. "Scan it again," he ordered, his voice tight. Lieutenant Susan Gray nodded, her fingers moving across her console. "Still reading as artificial, sir. Definitely not human in origin." The bridge fell silent. After centuries of wondering if humanity was alone in the universe, they finally had their answer. "Any response to our hails?" "Nothing yet, sir." Communications Officer Ben Harris replied. "Wait, incoming transmission." The view screen flickered, and Phillips felt his breath catch. The being that appeared wasn't human, not even close. It had pale blue skin, large oval eyes, and a small mouth. Phillips straightened his uniform and cleared his throat. "This is Commander Jack Phillips of the United Earth Navy vessel Defiance. We come in peace." The alien's expression shifted slightly. "We are aware of who you are, human." Its voice had an odd musical quality. "I am Kareth, observer for the Galactic Council." Phillips exchanged glances with his first officer, Kate Wilson. "Galactic Council. Yes. The governing body for civilized space. We have been monitoring your species for some time. Why haven't you contacted us before now?" Phillips asked. The alien made a gesture that might have been dismissal. "Your species was not yet considered ready for contact. Your discovery of our observation post has accelerated matters." Phillips felt a chill despite the regulated temperature of the bridge. "And now you will be introduced to the greater galactic community. Under proper supervision, of course." Wilson stepped forward. "What exactly does supervision mean?" Before Kareth could answer, the screen split to show another alien. This one had dark purple skin stretched tight over sharp facial features. Its eyes were narrow slits of yellow. "I am Ambassador Drek of the Vrol Imperium, senior member of the Council," the new alien said. "Your officer asks an inappropriate question. Humans are not in a position to make demands." Phillips felt his face grow warm. "We're not making demands, Ambassador. We're trying to understand the situation." "The situation is simple," Drek replied. "Your species has developed faster than anticipated. Your emotional instability combined with your technological advancement presents a risk to galactic stability." "Emotional instability," Phillips repeated, keeping his voice level despite his rising anger. "Your history is filled with violence," Drek continued. "War, destruction. You barely survived your nuclear age. The Council has determined that humanity requires protective oversight to prevent you from bringing your chaotic tendencies into the greater galaxy." The bridge crew exchanged uncomfortable glances. "With respect," Phillips said, "Earth has been peaceful for generations. We've united our planet and expanded into our solar system without conflict." Drek made a sound that might have been laughter. "A few decades of relative peace does not erase thousands of years of barbarism. The Council has observed your entertainment, your cultural obsessions with conflict. Your very nature is unpredictable." "Ambassador," Kareth interrupted, "perhaps a more diplomatic approach." "Diplomacy is for equals," Drek snapped. "Commander Phillips, you will return to Earth with our terms. The Council will establish oversight bases on your planet and place restrictive protocols on all your vessels. This is not negotiable." Phillips stood very still, aware of his crew watching him. "I'll relay your message to Earth leadership," he said carefully. "But I should warn you, humans don't respond well to ultimatums." "Your responses are irrelevant," Drek said. "The decision has been made. You may leave now." The transmission ended abruptly. Phillips turned to his communications officer. "Send everything we just recorded to Earth Command. Priority 1. As the Defiance turned back toward Earth, Phillips stared at the alien outpost growing smaller on the view screen. First contact should have been a moment of celebration. Instead, he couldn't shake the feeling that humanity had just been backed into a corner. And history had proven, time and again, that cornered humans were dangerous. Olivia Martinez waited in the imposing reception hall of the Galactic Council station. The curved walls rose hundreds of feet above her, decorated with symbols representing the 7-member species. Earth's symbol was noticeably absent. 3 weeks had passed since Commander Phillips' encounter with the alien outpost. Earth's governments had been thrown into chaos, but eventually united behind a single response: negotiate, but from a position of strength. As Earth's top diplomat, Martinez had been chosen to represent humanity. "The Council will see you now," announced a small, green-skinned attendant. Martinez smoothed her navy blue uniform and followed the alien through massive doors that slid open silently. Inside, 7 raised platforms formed a semicircle around a central speaking area. Each platform held representatives from different alien species. "Diplomat Olivia Martinez of Earth," the attendant announced before retreating. Martinez stepped forward, feeling the weight of 7 billion humans on her shoulders. "Honorable Council members, I bring greetings from Earth. We are eager to establish peaceful relations with the galactic community." Ambassador Drek of the Vrul leaned forward, his purple skin gleaming under the lights. "There seems to be some confusion, human. You are not here to establish relations. You are here to receive instructions." Martinez kept her expression neutral. "With respect, Ambassador, Earth is a sovereign planet. We come prepared to discuss fair terms for joining your community." A ripple of what might have been laughter moved through several council members. "Sovereignty is earned," said a reptilian alien that Martinez identified as a Sorak from her briefing materials. "Your species is barely out of its cradle. Yet we've accomplished much in that time," Martinez countered. "We've overcome global divisions, developed advanced technologies independently, and begun exploring our solar system without outside help." "Precisely our concern," Drek said. "Your rapid advancement coupled with your emotional unpredictability makes your species dangerous." Martinez opened her data tablet. "I've brought evidence of humanity's peaceful intentions. Our art, music, scientific achievements." "We've studied your species thoroughly," interrupted a bulky, fur-covered council member. "Your entertainment glorifies violence. Your history is soaked in blood." "No species has a perfect history," Martinez argued. "But we learn from our mistakes. Humanity has evolved." "Enough," Drek cut her off. "The Council has decided. Earth will accept oversight bases on your planet. Your ships will be fitted with technology governors to prevent weaponization. Your scientific progress will be monitored and restricted in certain areas." Martinez felt her heart sink, but kept her voice steady. "That sounds like occupation, not membership." "Call it what you wish," Drek replied. "It is necessary." A slender blue-skinned alien, similar to Kareth from the outpost, but older, spoke for the first time. "Perhaps we should consider the humans' perspective, Drek. Their resistance is understandable. Your sympathy for lesser species is noted, Talarian," Drek said dismissively. "But the decision stands." Martinez tried a different approach. "May I ask what happened to the Centauri?" "The blocks. Historical records I was given mention them as former members, but they're now listed as extinct." An uncomfortable silence fell over the chamber. "Those species failed to adapt to galactic standards," the Sorak representative finally said. "Their fate is irrelevant to this discussion." Martinez looked at each council member in turn. "Is that what awaits Earth if we don't comply? Extinction? Your compliance ensures your survival," Drek said coldly. "The alternative is quarantine. No space travel beyond your solar system. Ever." As Martinez left the chamber, the Talarian representative approached her privately. "Your questions about the extinct species were perceptive," the alien whispered. "Not all on the council agree with Drek's methods. Proceed carefully, human." Martinez nodded slightly, her mind racing. The meeting had confirmed her worst fears. The council didn't want partners. They wanted subjects. As her shuttle departed for Earth, She began drafting 2 reports, one for public consumption and another, more urgent one for military command. Martins presented her findings to the United Earth Council in a closed session. The room was silent as government leaders absorbed the implications. "So they want to put us in a cage," said Admiral William Foster, his weathered face grim. "A comfortable cage, but yes," Martins replied. "They view us as dangerous children who need supervision." President Helen Clark sighed. "What choice do we have? Their technology far exceeds ours. We could agree to initial talks," Martins suggested. "Buy time while we assess our options." After heated debate, Earth's leaders agreed to a preliminary arrangement. The Galactic Council would establish a small diplomatic presence in Earth's orbit while negotiations continued. No military vessels or weapons systems would be permitted. 3 months later, Admiral Foster stared at the sensor readings with growing alarm. "These can't be right," he muttered. Lieutenant Peter Walsh shook his head. "We've confirmed it through 4 different systems, sir. The Council has positioned at least 30 vessels beyond Neptune. Only 5 are registered diplomatic ships." Foster's jaw tightened. "And the others?" "Military, sir. Destroyers, by our best analysis. They're using some kind of stealth technology, but our new quantum sensors can detect their engine signatures." Foster immediately called an emergency meeting with Earth's Security Council. As military leaders gathered, scientist Nicole Howard was admitted to the chamber, looking nervous but determined. "Admiral, I've discovered something you need to see," she said, activating a holographic display. "I've been analyzing the historical records the Council provided during initial contact." The display showed a star map with several systems highlighted in red. "These are the home systems of species listed as extinct in the Council records," Howard explained. "But they're not extinct, at least, not entirely." She zoomed in on one system, the Centauri. According to official records, they died out due to a pandemic 300 years ago. But I found references in Tellurian medical journals to Centauri genetic samples being used in current research. "What are you suggesting?" President Clark asked. "I believe these species didn't die out. They were absorbed or contained after similar protection arrangements with the Council." Howard's voice was steady. "In each case, the Council established oversight bases, then gradually increased restrictions until the species lost all meaningful independence." Foster's face darkened. "And now they've positioned military assets in our system without authorization." The next day, Martinez confronted the Council representatives in the orbital diplomatic station. "Our agreement specified non-military presence only," she said, displaying the sensor data. "Yet you've stationed destroyers throughout our outer system." Ambassador Drek appeared undisturbed. "Merely precautionary vessels to ensure smooth diplomatic relations. Armed warships are not diplomatic tools," Martins countered. "Your species' paranoia is precisely why we need these security measures," Drek replied dismissively. "They pose no threat unless you force confrontation." Martinez felt cold anger rising within her. "We also discovered the truth about the extinct species mentioned in your records. They weren't wiped out by natural causes. They were systematically stripped of autonomy until nothing remained of their original culture." For the first time, Drek seemed unsettled. "You misunderstand historical context." "I understand perfectly," Martinez interrupted. "The same fate awaits Earth if we continue these talks." That evening, Foster received an urgent message from Earth's defense network. "Sir, we've detected Council agents attempting to access our planetary shield systems. They're trying to map our defenses." Foster immediately contacted Martinez on the diplomatic station. Her face appeared on his screen, already grim with knowledge. "You've seen the infiltration attempt?" he asked. She nodded. "This ends now. I'm formally announcing our withdrawal from peace talks. All Council representatives have 48 hours to leave human space." Foster looked at her soberly. "They won't go quietly." "No," Martinez agreed. "They won't. Activate Project Phantom." It's time for Plan B. Martinez stood before the full Galactic Council chamber for what she knew would be the final time. The 7 alien representatives looked down at her from their elevated platforms. Most showed expressions of contempt or impatience, though the Tellarian representative seemed genuinely troubled. You request an emergency session only to repeat baseless accusations, Ambassador Drek said, his voice dripping with disdain. We have explained that our vessels are merely providing security during this transition period. Martinez held up a datapad. This contains evidence of 17 unauthorized Council access attempts on Earth's defense networks in the past week alone. Your security seems focused on mapping our vulnerabilities. The Sorek representative waved a clawed hand dismissively. Technical misunderstandings. Your primitive systems likely misinterpreted standard communication protocols. Our systems are not as primitive as you believe, Martinez replied coldly. We tracked the intrusion attempts directly to Council vessels. Murmurs spread through the chamber. The Tellarian representative leaned forward. These are serious allegations, Ambassador Drek. If true, they are not true, Drek snapped. This is typical human paranoia. Their entire history is filled with conspiracy theories and irrational fears. Martinez felt her patience finally break. For months, she had maintained diplomatic composure while the Council treated humans like children. No more. Admiral Foster has transmitted a formal demand to your fleet commanders, she announced. All unauthorized Council vessels must withdraw from our solar system within 24 hours. The chamber erupted in overlapping voices. Drek stood up, his yellow eyes narrowed to slits. You dare to make demands of the Galactic Council, he hissed. Your species is in no position to dictate terms. We're not dictating terms, Martinez replied firmly. We're asserting our sovereignty. A sovereignty you cannot defend, the Sorek representative said with a laugh that sounded like grinding stones. Your military technology is centuries behind the Council's. Martinez looked at each Council member in turn. Is that your final position? That Mike makes right. Your primitive philosophy is irrelevant, Drek said. The Council has determined that humanity requires oversight. If you resist, sanctions will be imposed that will cripple your already fragile economy. I see. Martinez took a deep breath. Then, on behalf of United Earth, I formally announce our withdrawal from all peace talks and negotiations with the Galactic Council. Silence fell over the chamber. You cannot withdraw, Drek finally said. The process has already begun. Watch us, Martinez replied. All Council representatives have 48 hours to leave human space. After that time, we will consider your presence a hostile occupation and respond accordingly. Laughter erupted from several Council members. With what? The Sorek asked. Your primitive ships, your limited weapons. The Tellarian representative alone did not laugh. Ambassador Drek, perhaps we should consider. Be silent, Drek snapped. He turned his gaze to Martinez. This emotional reaction is exactly why your species requires guidance. You will calm down and return to negotiations tomorrow. The Council does not recognize your withdrawal. Martinez shook her head. This is not an emotional reaction. It is a calculated decision based on your pattern of deception. The talks are over. As she turned to leave, Drek called after her. If you persist in this foolishness, humans will regret challenging the Council's authority. Martinez paused at the doorway. No, Ambassador. I believe it will be the Council that regrets its mistake. That night, as Martinez prepared to depart for Earth, Council security agents attempted to detain her. They found her quarters empty. She had already been quietly evacuated by human special forces. Meanwhile, Admiral Foster was contacting every human ship in the solar system. This is not a drill. Implement blackout protocol immediately. Earth goes dark in 6 hours. Across the solar system, human outposts began shutting down communications. Ships changed course, heading toward Earth. The Council representatives watched with amusement, believing they were witnessing humanity's retreat. They could not have been more wrong. The Galactic Council's Central Command Station buzzed with activity. On the main view screen, representatives watched as human ships withdrew from their outer system positions. Small freighters, science vessels, and patrol craft all changed course toward Earth. As expected, Ambassador Drek said, his purple skin gleaming under the station lights. They retreat when faced with superior force. The Sorek representative clicked his claws together in agreement. Their withdrawal from talks is merely a tantrum. They will return to negotiations once they realize the futility of resistance. Only the Tellurian ambassador seemed concerned. I'm not so certain. Diplomat Martinez seemed quite determined. Determined but powerless. Drek replied dismissively. They have gone silent because they have nothing of value to say. Earth had indeed gone silent. No communications had been transmitted for over 24 hours. The Council observation posts reported only routine movement around the planet. Typical civilian traffic, nothing military. The humans have exceeded your 48-hour deadline, a junior role officer reported. Our representatives remain in position. Drek nodded with satisfaction. Maintain surveillance. They will break their silence soon enough. 3 days passed. The silence continued. Then, without warning, the Council's furthest monitoring station stopped transmitting. Station 17 is offline, a technician announced with confusion. Last report showed nothing unusual in the sector. Equipment malfunction, the Sorek representative suggested. These outposts are automated. 2 hours later, Station 16 went dark. Then Station 15. Send a scout vessel to investigate, ordered Drek, now showing the first signs of concern. The scout ship reached the location of Station 17 and found nothing but debris. The commander's report was terse. Outpost destroyed. No indication of cause. No distress signal was transmitted. That same day, 4 more monitoring stations ceased transmission. In the Council's emergency session, the mood had shifted dramatically. This is impossible, the Sorek representative hissed. How could they disable 7 monitoring stations without detection? Our technology is vastly superior. The Tellurian ambassador spoke quietly. We may have underestimated them. Nonsense. Drek snapped, but his confidence sounded hollow. Deploy the Third Fleet to human space. Show them the consequence of this childish sabotage. The Third Fleet, 20 warships, moved into position near Jupiter. Their commander, a veteran Vrol named Zathor, addressed his officers with disdain. These humans think they can challenge us with hit-and-run tactics. Their primitive ships are no match for even one of our destroyers. As if in answer to his boast, 3 Council warships at the edge of his formation suddenly exploded. What happened? Zathor demanded. Unknown, Commander. No weapons fire detected. No enemy ships on sensors. Before Zathor could respond, 2 more ships erupted in flames. Still, sensors showed nothing. Impossible, he roared. Deploy countermeasures. Find them. But there was nothing to find. No radiation signatures, no engine trails, nothing that indicated the presence of attacking vessels. Yet one by one, his ships were being picked off with surgical precision. Back at Council headquarters, panic was beginning to spread. Half the Third Fleet destroyed. Drek stared at the report in disbelief. How? The Tellurian ambassador's expression was grave. I warned you. Their silence was not surrender, it was preparation. For what? The Sorek demanded. They have no technology that could accomplish this. Evidently, they do, the Tellurian replied. Or rather, they developed it while we watched them, and saw only what we expected to see. On the view screens, emergency signals flashed from throughout the outer human system. Council bases, monitoring stations, and warships were going dark at an alarming rate. Deploy the main battle fleet, Drek ordered, his voice tight with anger and fear. Crush this rebellion immediately. As the Council scrambled to respond, Admiral Foster stood in Earth's Central Command Center, watching tactical displays that showed the true situation. Dozens of human stealth vessels moving methodically through space, eliminating Council military assets one by one. They'd never bothered to understand us, Foster said quietly to Martinez, who had returned to Earth. They saw our past conflicts and assumed we were simply violent. They never realized that those conflicts taught us to innovate, to adapt, to find creative solutions when outmatched. Martinez nodded. And now they're learning that lesson the hard way. The Galactic Council's main battle fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. 100 warships strong, it was the largest military force ever deployed in human space. Fleet Admiral Grenthak, a veteran Vrol commander with 3 centuries of experience, surveyed the tactical display with confidence. No more games, he told his officers. We will crush these upstart humans and remind them of their place in the galactic order. The massive ships moved slowly toward Earth, weapons primed. Grenthak expected to meet the remnants of human resistance, perhaps a few dozen vessels that had somehow managed to destroy his advance forces. Instead, his sensors showed nothing. Where are they hiding? He demanded. His sensor officer looked confused. No human ships detected, Admiral. Only civilian traffic near Earth. Grenthak narrowed his yellow eyes. Impossible. They must have some kind of stealth technology. Scan on all frequencies. As the fleet approached Mars orbit, a junior officer suddenly called out, "Energy spike." Unusual reading from asteroid belt coordinates. Before Grenthak could respond, 5 of his outer ships exploded simultaneously. "Find them," he roared. But his crews found nothing. No missile trails, no energy signatures, no visible attackers. Just empty space, and more explosions as ships continued to be struck by invisible weapons. On board the human vessel Phantom *, Captain Eric Daniels watched his tactical display with satisfaction. His ship, along with 50 others, was practically touching the enemy vessels, yet remained completely undetectable. Engineer Bennett's stealth system is working perfectly, his first officer commented quietly. Daniels nodded. The Council never imagined we could develop technology they didn't give us. Their arrogance is their weakness. The Phantom was the lead ship of humanity's ghost fleet, vessels built in secret over the past 5 years. When the Council first contacted Earth, human leaders had been suspicious. Rather than putting all their resources into the public fleet that the Council could observe, they had diverted significant materials and personnel to construct these invisible ships. Now they moved among the Council fleet like wolves among sheep. Target their flagship's engines, Daniels ordered. Precision energy beams lanced out, invisible until they struck their target. Grenthak's massive command ship shuddered as its propulsion systems failed. Across the solar system, similar scenes played out. Human ghost ships appeared from nowhere, struck with perfect accuracy, and vanished again. They didn't use standard attack formations or predictable patterns. Each captain had full autonomy to strike as they saw fit, making their movements impossible to predict. "This is madness," Grenthak shouted as another nearby ship erupted in flames. "How are they doing this?" His tactical officer looked up from his console, fear evident in his eyes. "Admiral, we're detecting hundreds of new energy signatures. They're all around us." As if emerging from thin air, the human ghost fleet suddenly appeared on Council sensors. Over 300 warships surrounded the Council fleet, weapons locked on. "Impossible," Grenthak whispered. Their shipbuilding capacity was thoroughly assessed. They couldn't have constructed this many vessels without detection. A communication request flashed on his screen. When he accepted, Eric Daniels' face appeared. "This is Captain Daniels of the United Earth Navy. Your fleet is surrounded and at our mercy. Power down your weapon systems immediately." Grenthak snarled. "You expect the mighty Council fleet to surrender to primitives? Look at your tactical display, Admiral," Daniels replied calmly. "You've lost 30 ships without landing a single hit on us. This isn't a battle. It's a demonstration." To prove his point, 10 more council ships suddenly lost power as human weapons disabled their critical systems without destroying them. In the council headquarters, frantic reports flooded in. The main battle fleet, their ultimate military asset, was being systematically dismantled by an enemy they had dismissed as primitive. The Talarian ambassador turned to Drek, whose purple skin had paled to a sickly lavender. "I believe we have gravely misunderstood the humans." Drek could only stare at the tactical displays in shock as more council ships went dark. Meanwhile, engineer Laura Bennett stood in her lab on Earth, watching data stream in from the battle. Her stealth technology, developed by studying fragments of council tech and improving upon it, had changed the course of the conflict. "They thought our emotional nature made us weak," she said to her team. "They'd never understood it makes us stronger. When threatened, humans don't give up. We get creative." Admiral William Foster stood on the bridge of the Defiance *, now the flagship of humanity's fleet. Through the viewport, he could see the massive council diplomatic vessel approaching Earth orbit. The past 2 weeks had transformed the galaxy's understanding of humanity, and humanity's understanding of its place in the stars. They're requesting permission to dock at the orbital station, Communications Officer Harris reported. Foster nodded, granted, and informed Diplomat Martinez that our guests have arrived. The council delegation had shrunk considerably. Where once 7 species had looked down on humanity from their elevated platforms, now only 4 representatives made their way into Earth's orbital conference room. Ambassador Drek was noticeably absent. In his place, the Talarian ambassador led the delegation. Martines noted the change with satisfaction as she took her seat across from the aliens. "Welcome to Earth space," she said formally. "This time as guests, not overseers." The Talarian inclined his head. "We appreciate your willingness to meet with us, given recent events." "Recent events," Martines repeated with a small smile. "A diplomatic way to describe the complete failure of your military campaign." The Sorek representative, once so dismissive, now couldn't meet her eyes. "The Council has reassessed its position regarding humanity." "I'm glad to hear it," Martines replied. "We're prepared to discuss new terms for Earth's relationship with the Galactic Council." The Talarian placed a device on the table that projected a holographic document. "We have prepared a standard membership agreement." "No," Martinez interrupted firmly. "Not standard. Earth will not accept the same terms offered to other species. We've seen where that leads." The council representatives shifted uncomfortably. "What terms do you propose?" the Talarian asked. "Equal membership, full voting rights, no restriction on human expansion or technology development, no oversight bases on our planet or in our system." The Sorek hissed in surprise. "Such terms are unprecedented." "So is defeating your main battle fleet without losing a single ship," Martines countered. "The old approach clearly doesn't work with humans. It's time for something new." As the negotiations continued, Admiral Foster met with Captain Daniels and Engineer Bennett in a secure room nearby. "How much did we reveal?" Foster asked. Daniels smiled slightly. "Enough to ensure respect, not enough to show all our capabilities. They know about the stealth ships now, but not their full numbers or our new drive technology." Bennett nodded. "They still believe our Ghost fleet is around 300 ships. They have no idea we've built over 1,000. "Good," Foster said. "Peace through strength." The humans of ancient Earth understood the concept well. Later, as the council representatives prepared to depart with the initial framework for a new relationship, the Talarian ambassador asked for a private word with Martinez. "I was among those who advocated for a different approach to humanity from the beginning," he said once they were alone. "But I was overruled." "By Drek?" Martines asked. "Yes, he has been removed from his position now. His failure was complete." Martinez studied the alien thoughtfully. "Why did you see us differently?" The Talarian's large eyes seemed to look inward. "My species was once like yours, emotional, creative, sometimes unpredictable. The Council helped us thousands of years ago, guided us toward logic and order. We gained much, but lost something essential in the process. Your spirit, Martine suggested. Perhaps. The Tellarian looked out the viewport toward Earth. We thought your emotional nature was a weakness. We now understand it is the source of your greatest strength, your creativity, adaptability, and determination when threatened. And your council. The Council regrets our mistake, the Tellarian said simply. But some lessons must be learned the hard way. As the Council ship departed, humanity watched with new confidence. In just a few months, they had gone from an isolated species to a rising power in the galaxy. Admiral Foster stood beside Martinez as they watched the alien vessel shrink into the distance. "What happens now?" he asked. Martinez smiled. "Now we join the galactic community. But on our terms. We'll be careful, we'll be prepared, but we'll also extend genuine friendship to those who deserve it. And those who don't." Martinez's expression hardened slightly. "They've seen what happens when humans abandon peace talks. I don't think we'll have to demonstrate that lesson again anytime soon." Across Earth, citizens looked up at the night sky with new understanding. The stars were no longer just distant lights. They were places where other beings lived, some friends, some foes, all now aware that humanity had claimed its place among them. Not as students or subjects, but as equals. And they had earned that place not just through force of arms, but through the very qualities the Council had feared: human ingenuity, adaptability, and an unwavering determination to remain free.